not ready to die yet. I don't think God is through with me, and I ain't done working. So I love...
For decades, the world believed it knew every detail of Dolly Parton's life. The shining star of country music, the woman with the eternal smile and generous heart. But behind the glitter, the bright stages, and the moving lyrics, there was a truth carefully hidden. For 30 years, Dolly lived a double life that no one, absolutely no one, ever noticed. Her interviews seemed sincere, her public appearances enchanting, but there was something deeper, a secret that, if revealed at the time, could have destroyed her image and shaken the entire music industry. What was she hiding from her fans, from journalists, and even from some of those closest to her? A secret relationship? A controversial choice? A silent pact with success and loneliness? Today, we will reveal what really happened, and the reason why Dolly Parton kept this story in the shadows for so long. Before we dive into this revelation, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It's essential so that YouTube keeps recommending this type of content and helps us share these hidden stories with more people like you who love discovering the truth behind the world's biggest public figures. And if you'd like to support the channel and our investigative work even more, you can use the Super Thanks feature. Your gesture makes a huge difference. But if you can't contribute financially, just leave a comment telling us what surprised you the most about today's story. I promise I'll read every single one. Now, get ready, because in the next few moments, you're going to see the other side of Dolly Parton, the one that never appeared on camera. Stay with me until the end, because the final revelation will leave you completely stunned and might just change everything you thought you knew about one of the greatest legends in American music. When it comes to Dolly Parton, one of the most beloved and iconic figures in country music, countless rumors have surfaced over the years. Some came from her own words, while others were born from far less reliable sources. One of the most persistent rumors is about a never-revealed secret lover, a story that blends speculation with real emotion, pain, and a lot of what-ifs. Although there is no concrete confirmation that she ever had a lover in the literal sense, Dolly herself admitted, in her book Dolly on Dolly, that she once experienced what she calls affair of the heart, an emotional, long, and profound relationship that may not have been physically consummated, but that hurt just as deeply as any traditional romance. This mysterious relationship shook Dolly to her core. She recounts that, during that period in her life, she felt her heart break in such an intense way that she began to contemplate something very serious, her own life, something she narrowly avoided. She was alone in her room, looking at a gun she kept nearby for protection against intruders, lost in despair and overwhelmed by how that unconventional love had made her so vulnerable. It was her little dog, Popeye, who interrupted that dark moment. The sound of his tiny paws climbing the stairs, the creak of the railing, all of it brought Dolly back to reality. She dropped the gun, prayed, and felt what she describes as a spiritual intervention, a messenger. Despite the heavy emotional weight of the experience, Dolly has always been careful to distinguish that affair of the heart from anything physical or truly unfaithful. She explains that her marriage to Carl Dean, her husband for decades, has always been built on love, respect, and a kind of emotional freedom that doesn't always fit into traditional definitions. Dolly admits to having had crushes, to flirting, to imagining or desiring, but insists that none of that ever translated into something physical. Rumors have also circulated about who that person might have been, a close friend, a colleague, or perhaps someone outside the music world. But Dolly has never confirmed an identity, nor has she shown any intention of doing so. In interviews, she has denied the more extreme speculations, including claims of a romantic relationship with her childhood friend Judy Ogle. She describes that friendship as profoundly intimate, filled with affection and connection, but firmly emphasizes that it is platonic. What fascinates the public is how privately Dolly lived through all of this without seeking pity, justice, or public redemption. She didn't point fingers or cast herself as a victim. Instead, she endured the pain, kept her secrets, and fought to balance her public image as a radiant star with the quiet turmoil of her private life. And that duality, living both on stage and behind the scenes, seems to be an essential part of who she truly is. So, even though there's no confirmation that the so-called secret lover ever existed in the conventional sense, there's undeniable proof that something real did exist, a deep emotional bond, an overwhelming sense of despair, an inner struggle for identity, love, and loyalty to her own vision of herself. Dolly Parton, the legendary singer, has always led a life filled with sparkle, timeless songs, media appearances, and fame, but also, inevitably, with rumors. One of the most persistent ones involve her childhood friend, Judy Ogle. For decades, there has been speculation that the relationship between Dolly and Judy might be more than friendship, that there could be some kind of hidden emotional or romantic connection. However, Dolly has always addressed all of this with clarity, respect, and humor, making it very clear that there is indeed a deep bond, but a platonic one. From a very young age, Dolly and Judy have known each other. They practically grew up together. As Dolly herself has said in interviews, their parents knew each other, spent time in the same places, their families often met, and the two girls went through school years side by side, sharing joys, sorrows, and dreams. This natural closeness fueled speculation. When two women are that close in public, when they appear together, when one seems to understand the other in a special way, many people automatically assume there must be something more. This kind of speculation isn't new. Dolly says these whispers have followed her for decades. On several occasions, Dolly has addressed these rumors directly. In interviews, she has thanked people for their affection and interest, but she states that these are simply rumors. She firmly denies any romantic involvement with Judy. In People magazine and other publications, she has said, "I'm not gay, but I have many gay friends, and I accept everyone for who they are." Speaking about Judy, Dolly highlights that she has been her friend since childhood, someone like a sister, someone she has shared her life with, but there is no romance between them. What Dolly seems to value most is the longevity and strength of this friendship. Judy has been a source of support and a constant presence. Dolly talked about trust, comfort, and the way Judy has understood parts of her life that many others never could. She often emphasizes that love and friendship have many shades, that loving someone deeply does not necessarily mean romantic or sexual attraction. These comments make it clear that, for Dolly, this close friendship is something incredibly special, but one she defines as entirely platonic. There's also something interesting in how Dolly responds. Not with anger, but with calmness, strength, and respect. She acknowledges that people love to speculate. People love to talk, they love to gossip, but shows that it doesn't really bother her, as long as it doesn't hurt the people she loves. She doesn't seem to see these rumors as scandalous, but rather as part of what it means to live so visibly, to live under constant public scrutiny. In the end, this rumor about Dolly and Judy reveals as much about Dolly's personal life as it does about how society and the media often interpret close female friendships. Too often, when two women share a deep bond, there's a tendency to turn it into something romantic. Dolly, however, offers another perspective. She cherishes deep friendship, rejects labels that don't fit, recognizes that love has many forms, and insists that, in their case, it has always been true friendship. For many years, one of the most talked about topics surrounding Dolly Parton hasn't been just her songs, her talent, or her generous donations, but rather her almost inseparable friendship with Judy Ogle, a woman who had been by her side since the days when they both still lived in rural Tennessee. This bond, built over decades of companionship, trust, and genuine affection, has become the subject of countless speculations, some kind, others sensationalized, suggesting a possible romantic involvement between the two. Although Dolly has always faced these questions with a smile, the rumors have persisted precisely because of the loyalty and closeness that she and Judy have shown for so many years. Judy and Dolly met as little girls, grew up side by side, and over time created a friendship that has survived fame, distance, and the pressures of stardom. Judy is not a public figure and rarely appears at events, but she has been with Dolly behind the scenes, on trips, during tours, and through the singer's most delicate moments. For many fans, that constant presence raised the question, is it just friendship, or is there something more? But Dolly has always been clear and calm in her answers. She has repeatedly said that she is not a lesbian and that her relationship with Judy is purely platonic, based on love, trust, and mutual respect. She even says that the two are like sisters. They share secrets, dreams, and fears, but there has never been any romance involved. In interviews, Dolly often jokes about the topic, saying she understands why people are so curious. People love to talk. If you're pretty and have close friends, they make something up. I think it's funny. She always emphasizes that she isn't offended by the rumors because, as she says, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being gay. It's simply not her case. At the same time, she takes the opportunity to spread a message of acceptance and kindness, reminding everyone that all people deserve to be loved as they are. This light-hearted and genuine way of addressing the subject has made many admire her even more. After all, she manages to be firm without ever losing her sweetness. The truth is, Dolly and Judy's friendship has become a symbol of rare loyalty in the entertainment world. Judy has traveled internationally with the singer, served as her personal assistant, and acted as an emotional guardian, someone Dolly trusts completely. In moments when fame left her feeling lonely or overwhelmed, Judy was her safe haven. Their bond, so close and enduring, has often been misunderstood by those who fail to see that deep friendship can be intense, affectionate, and intimate without being romantic. For Dolly, love exists in many forms, and true friendship is one of the most beautiful of them all. She has never been bothered by people's speculation because she knows that what truly matters is what exists between them. And what's most beautiful is that even after so many years, this friendship remains intact, proving that not every deep connection needs a label. In the end, what exists between Dolly Parton and Judy Ogle is one of the most lasting and genuine friendships in the entertainment world. And perhaps the secret to such harmony lies precisely in the respect, humor, and loyalty they have shared from the very beginning. Behind the constant smile and the sparkling outfits that have become her trademark, Dolly Parton has fought a silent battle that has accompanied her for most of her life. The struggle with her own self-image and the need to wear public masks to protect herself. From a very young age, Dolly understood that success in the music world didn't depend solely on talent, but also on appearance and how the public perceived her. That's where her iconic style was born. The big blonde hair, bold makeup, and dazzling dresses. An image that, over time, became a kind of emotional shield. She has even said in interviews, "I created the Dolly Parton that the world knows. She's a character, and I dress up as her every day." But even with all the glitter, there was a part of her that felt fragile. Dolly knew that behind the exuberant persona lay deep insecurities, especially about her looks. Growing up in a humble family with no luxuries, she learned to beautify herself with whatever she had. When fame came, she wanted to make up for everything she'd never had by adopting a bold and eye-catching style. Yet the same look that made her famous also brought harsh criticism. Many mocked her appearance, calling her fake, plastic, and superficial. It hurt, but Dolly never showed it. Instead, she smiled, made jokes, and carried on a graceful and clever way of disarming judgment. In one of her most honest statements, she admitted that her image was both an act of rebellion and a form of protection. She chose to be larger than life because she felt that if she didn't create that character, the world might not take her seriously. The onstage Dolly became a necessary mask to endure the pressures of fame, to hide bad days and insecurities the public could never see. She once said, "When I put on my hair and my makeup, it's like putting on armor. I become the woman I need to be." This honesty reveals how deeply she understood the distance between her public image and her true self, and how heavily that weighed on her heart. Even so, Dolly always managed to turn vulnerability into strength. Instead of letting the criticism destroy her, she used her appearance as a declaration of personal freedom. What many saw as too much, she saw as self-expression, a way of telling the world that no one should be ashamed of who they are or how they choose to present themselves. Her struggle with self-image was, in fact, a process of self-discovery. Over the years, she learned to love both the woman behind the makeup and the shining artist in front of the cameras. Today, Dolly speaks openly about this duality with lightness and humor. She says people can laugh at her looks, but to her, they represent her creative essence, the reflection of someone who never wanted to fit into imposed standards. And that's exactly why millions admire her, because she proves that authenticity isn't about perfection, but about embracing who you are, with all your colors, sparkles, and imperfections. Her battle with self-image has become a powerful message of self-acceptance. And, in the end, Dolly Parton's greatest beauty isn't in her blonde hair or glittering clothes, but in her courage to be genuine, even when the whole world expected her to wear a mask. For decades, Dolly Parton and Carl Dean were one of the most discreet and enigmatic couples in the music world. He, a simple man who shunned the spotlight, preferred the quiet of a life far from fame. She, on the other hand, was a dazzling star, surrounded by cameras, applause, and endless commitments. Despite living in opposite worlds, the love that united them was genuine, deep, and built upon a silent bond that few ever truly understood. When Carl Dean passed away, the entire world turned its eyes to Dolly, wondering how that strong woman, who had always faced life with a smile, would endure the absence of a man who, for over 50 years, had been her safe harbor, her refuge, and her truth. The regret that came afterward wasn't born from a lack of love, but from all the things left unsaid, the hugs postponed, the simple moments stolen by the rush of fame. Dolly had always spoken of Carl with tenderness, but also with honesty about the sacrifices her career demanded. She spent months traveling, slept in hotel rooms, gave interviews, recorded endlessly. And when she returned home, she realized that time had slipped by faster than she wished. Carl, patient and reserved, always understood her calling, but the silence between them quietly grew over the years. He loved her for who she was. But deep inside, Dolly knew she hadn't always been as present as she wanted to be. After his death, that feeling turned into a quiet, almost invisible remorse, a shadow that followed her even beneath the brightest stage lights. In her memories, the smallest things became immensely precious. The morning coffee he always made, the calm way he listened to her stories, the subtle gestures of affection, even the little arguments that, in hindsight, now seem priceless. Her regret didn't come from one great mistake, but from the accumulation of all the everyday moments she had allowed to pass unnoticed. Dolly had said she would give anything for just one more day with Carl, not to sing or stand before an audience, but simply to talk, laugh, and feel the comfort of being beside him, without hurry, without cameras, without masks. It was in that realization that she understood fame gives a lot, but also takes away what is most valuable: time with the ones we love. Faith has always been the foundation of Dolly's life. It was through faith that she found the strength to face grief. Even so, losing Carl made her rethink the true meaning of success. With a broken heart, she came to see that awards and applause are fleeting, but love and memories are eternal. She kept working, but now with a different outlook. More grateful, more serene, more aware that every moment holds meaning. In recent interviews, she has confessed that she still feels Carl's presence in small, gentle ways. In a song that unexpectedly plays, in the scent of morning coffee, or an array of sunlight shining through the window, as if reminding her that he is still there in spirit, watching over her as he always did. Today, when she speaks of him, Dolly's words carry both sadness and peace. She says she doesn't regret living life to the fullest, but she admits that she may have learned too late that time is the greatest treasure we possess. She has turned grief into art, pain into wisdom, and regret into gratitude. Her greatest comfort lies in believing that one day she will see him again. And when that moment comes, she will finally be able to say everything that was left unspoken in her heart. For her fans, this chapter of Dolly's life is a touching reminder. Behind every star, there is a human being who loves, makes mistakes, and misses someone dearly. And even after all the success, fame, and fortune, the deepest regrets are born from the simplest things. The ones we put off for later, believing, perhaps too innocently, that time will always wait for us. From a very young age, Dolly Parton knew she had a purpose: to sing, to write, and to inspire people through her music. For her, art was never just a talent. It was a calling, a true mission in life. Coming from a humble family, she saw music as a way to give voice to her story, and to the stories of so many others who, like her, learned to turn pain into melody. In the beginning, that dream was pure, light, and filled with hope. She simply wanted to do what she loved and bring joy to others. But over time, that beautiful mission slowly turned into an invisible prison, a kind of golden chain that kept her from being just Dolly, the woman, and not the star. As her success grew, so did the pressure to meet expectations. From her fans, from the industry, from the world. Every smile had to be rehearsed, every word carefully measured, every performance flawless. The real woman was being swallowed by the public image, and the weight of being perfect became an enormous emotional burden. Dolly has always said she feels blessed to make a living from music, but in moments of vulnerability, she has admitted that sometimes she just wanted to disappear for a while, to stop being Dolly Parton all the time. The lights, the applause, and the fame came hand in hand with loneliness, exhaustion, and the suffocating feeling of being trapped inside her own creation. The artistic mission that once symbolized freedom began to feel like an obligation. It was as if she had built such an enchanting character that the world would no longer allow her to be anything else. The wigs, the laughter, the humor, and the cheerful voice became her armor, a way to hide her insecurities. Behind the cameras, there were tears, doubts, and a constant struggle to balance who she truly was with who the public expected her to be. As the years went by, that emotional prison only grew heavier. Every new achievement came with new demands. To be better, more beautiful, more inspiring, more exemplary. Dolly became a symbol of optimism, but that public image required her to suppress her weaknesses. She couldn't show sadness, fear, or fatigue because the world expected only strength and sparkle from her. In interviews, she once confessed, "The more people expected me to be happy, the harder it was to admit when I was hurting." It was a rare and honest revelation, one that showed just how isolating success can be. Even so, Dolly never let pain define her. Over time, she learned to turn that emotional confinement into wisdom. She began to see her artistic mission not just as a duty to heal others, but also as a way to heal herself. Every song she wrote became a confession, a mirror reflecting the emotions she could no longer express through words. Art, which once felt like a cage, became her refuge again, but now with a deeper meaning, acceptance. She realized she didn't need to be perfect, that she could continue to inspire others even by showing her vulnerability. Today, Dolly speaks openly about this duality. She acknowledges that success comes at a high price, but also gave her the power to touch millions of lives. And perhaps that is the true essence of her journey, discovering that an artistic mission isn't a prison once you learn to live freely within your own heart. Dolly Parton remains a shining example of strength and authenticity, a woman who has lived through the extremes of fame, yet never stopped seeking balance between the artist and the human soul behind the name the whole world has come to love. And so we've reached the end of this fascinating story about the double life of Dolly Parton, a woman who, behind all the sparkle and success, lived through secrets, struggles, and emotions that few could ever imagine. For more than 30 years, she balanced a beloved artist the world knew with a real person who carried pain and difficult choices. Now that you've seen this hidden side of her journey, I want to know your opinion. What surprised you the most about this story? Leave your thoughts in the comment below. I love reading what you think, and every point of view brings a new way to understand it all. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave your like. It really helps the channel grow and tells YouTube that this kind of content deserves to reach even more people. And of course, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. That's super important so you don't miss the next emotional stories. And it also helps this channel keep bringing you meaningful and heartfelt content. And if you'd like to support even more, you can use the Super Thanks feature. It's a great way to strengthen the channel and help me continue creating videos like this with even more dedication. But if you can't contribute financially, that's totally fine. Your comment and your like already make a huge difference. Now, before you go, take a look at the video that's appearing right here on your screen. It's even more intriguing and heart-touching than this one, and I'm sure you'll be completely drawn in from beginning to end. Click and stay with me on this journey full of mysteries, emotions, and stories that truly touch the heart.